Hey, what's up, guys? Stomp here, Stomping You Customs, doing our first interview podcast with my man Travis Dishon right here. Dishon, excuse me. And we wanted to give a big shout out to the Stay Bladed Brothers and say hi to the Don and get going on this beautiful day in Sarasota, Florida, with an interview with my man talking about competition knife throwing and what this means to him and knives in general. And his gains in life from being dedicated to something and actually taking it to the next level. And so this is Travis Dishon here. Say it correctly for everyone so they know it on your terms.
Dishon.
Okay. And we got a Stay Bladed interview going on here. And the way we're going to do this is I have several questions from 3 different people. Captain Preacher TJ and Joey Four Fingers and Sergeant of Arms here of Stay Bladed Central Florida. We're each going to have 5 questions each, and I'm going to let Travis here shout out to his people. Go ahead.
Full Tank Clan.
Yeah,
IKT. Love you guys.
And I'm obviously Stomp from Stay Bladed Central Florida, Thunk Gang South, and I'm new and learning the terminology and whatnot, but jumping right in and really appreciate the brotherhood and how much love I've actually gotten in the month I've been around her. So we're hoping to bring this podcast to you regular. If you like it, please share it. Please put your thumb up on there. And it's Saturday, October 14th on early, about 11 o'clock. And here we go. These the first questions are going to be from Preacher, all right? Here you go. Who was your inspiration to throw, Travis?
Inspiration to throw. I found IKT, Instinctive Knife Throwers, on Facebook and got started. Devin Debo, who is one of my biggest mentors in throwing altogether. He really pushed me, believed in me, and has motivated me and kept me going, the whole time I've, started throwing, which has actually only been 3 years.
You've only been throwing for 3 years?
I've only been throwing for 3 years.
And no background in this, or was there a background in anything else?
My dad threw as a child. He actually, stories of him throwing at the back of his bedroom door. Yeah, that's...
Who got in trouble for that? Leave a comment if you got in trouble for that.
Yeah. My dad definitely was an inspiration in just knives in general. He was the one that inspired me to always carry a knife because you just never know when you're going to need one. Him throwing always, intrigued me. And, that's definitely where my background takes place, is just from Dad.
That's awesome. So you've been in 3 years actual throwing, but you've had a knife on your side since you're a little kid, I'm assuming, like most of us.
Oh, yeah.
Probably started out with maybe you're 4 years younger than me, so what would have been popular?
It was
probably your first real good one was a Swiss Army knife you might have got for your birthday or Christmas or something.
Yeah, definitely. Even that and a little buck pocket knife.
Sure. What about the one that came out with Rambo, like the $7 one that everyone bought? Did you ever get that?
I did have that, and I broke the compass throwing it.
Yeah. Those things broke really fast.
But one of the big knives that I carried when I was younger was the $4 boot knife you would get at the county fair. Had the little wooden handle on it, and it was a little dagger point, and yeah, I carried that for a long time.
This is interesting. My dad had one of these at all the poker games he had to go to in the mountains, buck 110. I mean, everyone's got this. Walmart, $30, USA made. It don't get no better. I mean, you just ain't gonna have a better knife for $35 at Walmart, and it does everything. It's a 4.5-inch blade, real slim. Kind of heavy compared to what we're used to now, but it still rides nice and sits in the pocket real well and works really well, and you can replace it any day you need to. And as soon as I was 44 before I got my first buck 110. I'm in Walmart one day and I'm like, why don't I have one of these?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was always trying to get my father's, and he's passed years ago, and no one's ever seen it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it just disappears, and it's a little present to myself. And I suggest everyone go out and get yourself a buck 110. It's just a badass knife for $35. And, I like the fact that you bring in your father up, TJ. That means you might be somewhat normal. So maybe not, but we'll find out. We'll go a little deeper into this. So another question from the preacher is, did you explore styles when you started doing this 3 years ago, Travis, or did you just land on one and stay with it, or have you been morphing? Do you do this for fun to learn additional things? Is this a growing project for you?
When I first started off, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely exploring styles. You know, every thrower throws differently. It's just what works best for you is what you should go with. And over time, you know, your throwing will evolve. It always changes as you go along. You get more comfortable with your stances. You know, every few years, I believe it changes.
And as a new guy, you know, I'm going to tap into this. I've been throwing hawks now for 4 years of not drinking, and this is how I got into it. You had to find something to do. And once I discovered the range of each individual hawk, each individual knife, once I got comfortable, these are the baby steps. I mean, you forgot about this 2.5 years ago, you know what I mean? But you had to learn your ranges first. And to me, once I discovered that I could really stick anything with the proper range, that was a big aha moment for me, where I knew I could. This was something for me.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing with a thunk fever. When you stick it, it clicks something, and you want to keep going with it.
Oh, this is a dumbass I am. I just realized what the fuck it meant. Thunk gang south. This is how new I am. You know, guys on the internet, we're all stay bladed on the internet. It doesn't mean anyone's shaking anyone's hand. You know? Give me a hand too, brother.
That's
there you
right.
go, brother. That's right.
But you know, your throwing will evolve, but it's what works best for you. And when it feels right, it feels right. And you know, you just got to keep with it. And as far as you know, now I've been told I have my own method of throwing, and I believe everybody has their own method of throwing. It's just what you come into, and it'll more than likely change, but that's what happens when you become better and drive and try to keep going.
Did you get steered by this by your mentor, or is this something you started finding yourself and then sought out the mentor? Did this come from
no,
guidance, or did you seek it out?
I had a lot of mentors in the throwing community all around. I mean, there's such amazing throwers out there that have inspired me and that do keep me going every day. You know, Devin Debo, probably one of my biggest mentors. Danger, Full Tank Clan. You know, these guys have helped me in so many ways and got me to where I am now. You know, I'm a world-class knife thrower in 3 years.
It's amazing. It's a lot of work.
And,
it's a lot of time.
It's every day. Every day.
And me and Travis were talking about this a lot before we started. And, you know, he's a full-time job guy. I mean, he has responsibilities, kids, wives, job, things to fix, things to come home to, you know, neighbors to worry about, and all kinds of regular life stuff going on. Yet how much time do you find yourself averaging in a session, Travis?
You know, I may come out and throw for 20, 30 minutes at a time, but I do that probably 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day.
So we're talking about frequency. So he's not missing. How many times a day?
Oh, who knows? I mean, it just varies on what's going on.
If I had to stop right there. Did you say 6, 7, 8 times a day?
Oh, easily.
Oh, wow. So you're doing sessions after sessions.
Oh, yeah. When I'm out, I mean, when I'm home, and if I'm not doing, you know, home stuff,
you're throwing.
Then I'm throwing. And
this is what it takes. Okay. So I'm a good, if I can, I got a neighbor story too. The question's coming later. So if I can throw, I'm good for about a half hour and I'm done. And I do it about once a week, twice a week. My fitness level not so good. I'm about 6'4", 450. Bet you I'm way better than most 450s, but working on it. Definitely progress in the making. But this is, and that's my point. This is a sport I can do at 450, and I can thunk solid hits. and absolutely enjoy the shit out of it, and took to it really quickly, and found it to be very primal, almost like a necessary thing, almost like I had done this before in some other iteration of life or whatnot. And I'm sure Travis feels the same way. It becomes time you want to spend, and obviously to get to the level Travis is at, you have to be able to do this repeatedly and keep up with it. It very much like TJ says, it's church, and he's working at being the preacher, right? So this is time and exploration of your mental fitness and priorities. And it might not be for some, but it is for some.
It's definitely my zen. You know, I come out here and it's me, it's the knife, it's the target, it's the thunk.
It's awesome.
And that's just, you know, that's where it happens.
Well, you know, my next question was what drives you to the range, to hit the range daily, and I think we just covered it.
The love of the thunk.
Yeah, well, it's hitting them knives, and I want to go into a little bit of the aspect of newer people or people who doesn't have the experience you have, and this is a sport that's very easy to get into at a reasonable rate, I've found, compared to most sports. Once you decide to build the area in your backyard, you need to fork out a few bucks, and at the beginning levels, I've absolutely discovered cold steel is extremely reasonable and extremely available through regular retail means, and will absolutely do the job to a certain point, and even past that point. Very many pros and regulars use cold steel all the time for these things, especially for the hawks. They are the preferred throwing tool for many people.
My first rotational knives or conventional knives were the cold steel perfect balances.
Okay.
That's what I started throwing rotational with. In competition now, I throw the cold steel Frontier Hawks.
Okay.
Cold steel Norse Hawks is probably the most widely used hawk in all of tomahawk throwing. They're gorgeous. Then you got some makers out there that are coming up some super designs that, you know, could definitely be taking a sweep soon. And
let me tell you guys, if you are makers and you're interested in getting your product out there, a shameless plug for me, of course. Stompin' You Customs is representing and actively looking for cool dudes that want to get their product out there and have a different avenue to sell in. And we for sure would love to get into this end of things and have a division for throwers. And I as well have a few hawks we're going to show later that are custom made in a price range that are very competitive with the cold steels if you want to get into some custom. But there's also the cold steel is the way to go by far if you're just looking to start it out. And at another point, we're going to go at another segment and show his knives. But right now, if you wanted to tell us what you prefer to use right now in your competitions and your daily throwing for practice and your regiment as it would be for what you use now for your knives.
Well, in June, I went to Canada, competed in the 2017 World Championships at Ward Wright's competition, and it was absolutely amazing. Met some phenomenal people that do what we all love to do. There, I competed with my conventional knives were the Bill Price MB1s. They're 16 inches long and about 20 ounces each. My nose spins, I threw the Flying Steel arrows that are, I believe, 10 inches, and I'm not sure the weight on those, but that's what was really, working for me, so that's what I went with this year. Took second place
Nice.
in nose spin. Took second place in amateur conventional.
Beautiful, man.
So it was a successful trip, but those were the two knives I competed with. Fast draw was the Bill Price fast draw rig. Used that for a couple years now. Love it. Took first place with it in Georgia back in February. So, Bill Price does amazing work. Actually, I'll be using, next competition will be his tactical throwers, which are 13 inches long, and not sure the weight on those either. I just love to throw them.
Between a tactical it is and a regular one, does it come with a laser or something?
You know, I honestly don't know why it's called that. I'm sure there's a reason.
Maybe it has an edge on it that's actually maybe useful.
It very well could be. Actually, I have that on my side. This is the Bill Price.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Tactical thrower.
Oh, really?
G10 scales.
It's because it's a dagger.
These things take a beating. And with the name Blade Destroyer, let me tell you, I put a hurting on them. And they have stood up strong.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Travis throw, you need to go to his YouTube channel and check it out. I was watching him last night, and I mean, just funking these bowies in, man, just slamming hard. And I'm like, holy shit, this little dude throws. I mean, he's not really little. He's like, 5. He's like normal, like 6 foot or something.
I'm just a normal guy.
Yeah, it's normal shit. But but I mean, just
I love to throw.
Chonking him the way likes to get down with it for sure. And yeah, keep talking about your rig there.
But yeah,
how you doing with those tactical throwers?
I love the tactical throwers. I actually haven't scored myself since competition. When I try to score myself, I get in my own head and things don't play nice. So I just throw and consistency.
Just let it happen.
Just gotta repetitive, same motion every time.
And Travis, last question for the preacher is, give us a general day in the life of the Blade Destroyer. Give us, and these questions might repeat themselves over the interview, but don't worry about it. We're just getting more details.
I work full time for Whole Foods Market. I'm lead receiver there. Been there almost 13 years. I'm married. Been married. It'll be 13 years next year. I have a son. He's 16. I'm husband, father. Friend. Work, normal life. It's just when it's time to throw, man, nothing better. Just love it.
Keeps you busy, keeps you motivated, keeps you a certain amount of pride walking around, knowing the skills you have, knowing what you're able to do, knowing the time you can dedicate to something when you're into it. And there's no questioning someone's ability to work or their ability to spend time productively if they're improving themselves and if they're learning themselves. And if they're contributing and doing the right thing. And that's exactly what's going on with people that hang out and fiddle with knives. And what they don't do is get in trouble. What they're doing is staying busy and being productive and motivated in their lives. And what they're not doing is screwing around and trying to cause too many problems. Okay?
Idle hands.
Yeah, it's just a matter of staying busy. For myself, I came off a 25-year alcoholism problem, and it wasn't a problem when I was an alcoholic. I was having a fucking blast. But I ended up in the hospital for about 10 days, and about 14 days, and 10 of them was my heart stopping. And that was enough for me to learn it, and I got the hell off that ride, and I'm doing a different ride now, and that's how I got into throwing.
Proud of you, man. That's awesome.
The first year in, I was miserable. I was on Thorazine, and that was the worst year of my life. And the second year in, a friend of mine has a company and cut down this massive chip out of a tree, and my buddy Al picked it up and threw it on the stand for me, and he started helping me be able to come back a little bit and become a normal dude again. And it took me, I'm telling you, one thump, and I was doing 2-handers the next day. I had 2 in my hand the next day. I was throwing doubles immediately.
That's how it works.
Thunk fever. Real important for everyone to understand what this is really about. This is not attitude. Obviously, some people do have attitude and walk around with a little bit of swagger. I do myself, but that's an outside shell. The inside shell is what really makes us, and what really makes us feel more secure is I'm a worrier. I'm worried about who's coming at me. I'm worried about what might happen in life, and having something in my pocket and a little bit of knowledge and the idea that I can actually take care of myself is important. So I'm sure Travis feels the same way. And with that said, I'd like to transition over to Joey Four Fingers. And Joey Four Fingers, as you know, has just a massive thumb. I mean, if you think my thumb's big, Joey Four Fingers just come put the thumb of God right on you, right there, just strong. And he made sure he got his 2 cents in and got these questions out, and it must be respected. And all hands on deck when
Let's
Joey
do it.
speaks. And I got these questions on the paper, and I think I deciphered them correctly, sir. And please don't come over the top on me with the thumb. Thank you. And your first question, Travis, from Joey is, what got you into martial arts?
I'm a kid of the 80s, so, you know, Karate Kid got me into martial arts, man. That was, after that, who didn't want to go kick butt? Yeah. You know, so, you know, I actually took a little martial arts as a young teenager. Didn't last very long, but I took some, but I've always, you know, been into it. As far as the knives go, you know, I never got into knives and martial arts. They were two different things for me. Now that I can throw, it's a little bit different story.
That's awesome. So awesome transition from an awesome childhood of the 70s and inspirational people like Jean-Claude Van Damme doing splits and making us know that it's really okay to be flexible. And I quit doing the splits about a month ago because I was having some issues with going through too many pair of shorts, and I just wanted to concentrate more on pirouettes and whatnot. But the ability to be able to do the split is what's important. And balls on the floor, John, you know, and Steve Seagal, I'm pretty sure I bitch slap you in real life. I'm not positive, but pretty sure. And you know, obviously Tank Abbott for sure could beat the fuck out of Bruce Lee. I'm just saying it. Put him in an elevator. Who's coming out? That's it. All right. So Joey, Four Fingers. More questions from him. What's your personal carry, and are you aware of your local knife laws, Travis? Do you need to talk to my man Jim Mancuso? Jim Mancuso Law Firm down there in St. Pete, Florida. Jim Mancuso. If you have knife issues, call Jim. Give me a message. I'll get them out to you real quick there. Pinellas County Freedom Facility, jail facility. Jim visits that place every day.
I did talk with Stomp earlier about this, and laws around here are 4-inch blade. Anything over that, you should probably have conceal and carry.
Yeah, and even then, I'm not saying the cops are going to give you a hard time. Obviously, attitude and how you talk to people mean a lot. And let them know it's on you, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't look like a working blade, I'm not saying you have to do this, but I like to give them a lot of respect. These guys are carrying guns and trained and under a lot of pressure nowadays. I look sort of crazy, and I give them a lot of room and a lot of hands on the steering wheel. And what do you want me to do, sir? And don't overtalk too much, especially if you're carrying some serious heat. You know, I'm always, you know, this is a Ken Merrick 5-inch dagger. I mean, it's ridiculous. Redonkulous comes out just so quickly, you know. So this is my carry today for the little one and my 110. And all of these things are beautiful, and all of these things are useful. I mean, this is to a degree useful. Definitely, I was for sure butter and bread this morning with this thing. It just came through the hole. It's not really the best for that, but it definitely worked. You know, I pull out a Ken Merrick badass 5-inch dagger that Jack Bauer dies and wishes he had. And what would your bucket list Grail knife be? This is straight from Joey the Thumb.
I actually have my Grail knife. It was a gift from an amazing man, and I put an edge on it, and I love it.
That's amazing. I got a knife from my Uncle Bobby. First guy ever took me shooting when I was 12, and he died when I was 17. And I got his a buck 119, and yeah, it never even leaves a safe. Everyone knows what a buck 119 is. No one has to look at it. It just has to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's for sure a safe queen. I'm never using it.
Yeah, this is a Western Bowie.
I'm going to get it real quick. I know which one. Keep talking about it.
It was a gift to me from Alamo. The knife truly means a lot to me, and, you know, if I could carry it out in the open, I would. But if I'm able, it's on my side.
I believe that's it, right?
Nope. I love this thing.
Oh, this is a beautiful old knife right there. And it's super traditional with the coffin handle and the...
It's It's a beast.
The guard, and yeah, my Grail Bowie, or my Grail knife is obviously a Bowie. I mean, if you don't know me that well, I'm a Bowie fucking nut, so Bowie guy, and mine would be a Hell's Bell from Bill Bagwell, but in the interim, you know, I got one of my dudes to make something that his take on something similar. We gave him the description, you know, massive coffin handle, guard, super slimmed out, 10 inches of blade. Put a little bit of a Spanish notch on this bad boy, and this is just a whole bunch of slim right here.
A lot of badassery.
But it's a 1/4 inch tapered down with some sick taper, distal, and just a really fast knife that just disappears real quick and carries real easy. Show you how you do this here. You just get it down past the shirt and just walk around. Badass, you know, walk around with your knife. But the key is you want to take it out before you resheath it, because then you got real problems if you don't do it right. So you got to be smart about it, right? And then, like, when you're in the car, you just put it next to you in the seat, and you know, like I was at you know, I got a bagel and buttered the shit out of it with this thing. And buttering, constantly buttering.
Butter 2 or 3 bagels at once with that.
Just eat tip, you know, spreads nice. You know, this knife will do about 90% of everything I want it to, and 100% of badassery every time. I mean, just.
It's beautiful.
If you don't, do you see like the halo of badassery in my hands right now? Like, do you see the energy going around this thing?
Amazing.
Can you see it?
I can feel it.
Can you feel it?
I'm so close. I can feel it.
I'm gonna touch you. Just get it. I don't want it to burn you. Is it okay? I'm gonna put it down next to you. It seems like it's okay. All right, good. We're good. Okay. Past the bucket list knives, and Bill Bagwell, if you obviously you need someone to represent you. A lot of people don't know what your name is, and I love you. I would love to have you in the store. Bill Bagwell's the fucking man, and if you don't know who he is, go figure it out. Okay, another one from the thumb. Travis, are you just a practitioner or a teacher? And if you are a teacher, are you down with possibly doing like four training videos or so over the next year, and doing a beginner, middle, intermediate, and fourth degrees of your learning and what you've learned doing this? Would you like to be could you be a teacher for these guys?
I would certainly love to step in, you know, and I will give advice where I can. I feel very weird teaching because I've only been doing it a short time, but if, you know, somebody's asking me questions, I will do my best to answer them, and if I don't know, I will find out for you so we both learn.
And Travis has a massive YouTube channel, and you can still go there, and he's still active enough to participate and answer all the questions there. So make sure you check him out, and that's where I caught all his videos, and there's some content there, but there's definitely a way to find him, and there's a way to find him on Instagram as well, Travis_Dishon, and Facebook too, I think, right?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Blade Destroyer. You know, full tank clan.
Awesome. Okay, so was that a yes to the training videos? Can I come back here a couple times over the next year and film something?
Definitely. We'll put something together, and
okay.
Yeah.
And maybe one of them you can come to my place, and we'll have the new setup there, and
sounds great.
You can slam it in correctly, and give me the what's up and what can we do better and whatnot.
Sounds fantastic.
Awesome. Okay, we got a couple more questions from the thumb, and what's your favorite style, or excuse me, the opposite. What is your least favorite style, Travis, of throwing?
Least favorite style
what
of throwing?
What are you not doing if you can get away with it?
I don't know. I love to throw it all. I try to keep myself challenged and staying up on all the different throwing, I guess.
So being in 3 years, you haven't got sick of anything?
No. You know, I still throw, you know, half spin, no spin, full spin. You know, throwing's throwing.
Yeah, the truth is, it doesn't change. You can still not hit all the time. I watched a lot of your videos last night, and you were frequently not hitting. It's not like it's a guarantee.
Oh, no.
There's no guarantees in this.
Not at all. You know, have good days, have bad days. You know,
okay.
You're not always going to stick the knife. there's anything you see IKT around it in Latin, it says sometimes a knife sticks, sometimes it doesn't. And that's true. You're not going to stick it every single time.
It's a sport, it's a practice, and that's why it's called a practice. It doesn't end. So,
but let me tell you, hard work pays off.
Yeah, I mean,
you'll stick more and more, I promise.
And we're just catching you right now in the beginnings of your career when you're slamming the pro circuit on the spin. You know what I mean? It's going to be insane. And it's just at 30. What'd you say when you started? How old were you?
I was 34 when I started.
34. So you're 38 now.
Yep.
This is a sport you can easily do till you're 60. You're in pretty good shape. You're not in bad shape. You're not in stomp shape by any means. So definitely have no problem staying in this for a while and being able to be competitive and have a good time. And
the best part is that you're always still learning. You're always learning. There's something else to learn. You know, you don't get to the top and just stop. There's, challenge yourself. Keep yourself going. That's the biggest thing. Go out there and throw and be better than you were the day before.
That's awesome, Travis. And the third set of questions are from me. I come from a different aspect on this game. I've obviously there's a story in my past. I'll tell you about it sometime. But ever since I was 12, I've never not had something on me when it was appropriate for me to have that. And if I could, I did. And if I didn't, I found it. And my eyes are always up. And been in that martial mode for a long time, and was a gun guy for a long time as a knife guy, and spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on knives that were just productions, and had a beautiful relationship with Cold Steel and still do. And they ride in my pocket a whole bunch, and got into the custom knife game about 4 years ago. My badass girl Beth got me a tomahawk, and I instantly fell in love with the idea of customs. And I had several knives that I bought, and I was just really unimpressed with how they were represented size-wise, and ability to get a handle on what the knife actually looked like and felt like. And I'm not saying we can replicate that totally on mine, but at Stomp and U Customs there will be a video showing you the knife, and there will be a talk through going through every inch of that blade, and there is a ruler on every picture, and it shows the size, and I'm trying to bring a better dynamic, and honestly, these makers need a better representation. There's not much going on for these guys.
It's going to be a one-stop shop for quality stuff.
And right now, we got about 25 guys going in the lineup right now, and we're looking for more, and there will be more. And the website goes up in November, and I guess that doesn't mean shit online, but that means a month from now. And so my experience is poquito, but my knowledge of badassery goes on for years. I was a bouncer for 13 years with no lawsuits. I have absolutely been in riots and the shit, and I've absolutely lost, and I've absolutely won, and had just an amazing amount of fun times in my
He's still stomping
in my years, and I'm still walking it off. And like I was talking about, the thing that happened to me as a child, I got jumped by two 17-year-olds, and they almost killed me. And ever since then, I was a little bit different. And so my first question to you is going to be a little bit on the more of the deep down inner Travis stuff. And is there anything in childhood that sparked your need for obsession with knives? Or you said about your father earlier. Does that translate from his need to let you know to be okay and to be prepared?
Yeah, Dad's motto was to always be prepared. And that was definitely something you always carried on you, was a pocket knife, because you never know when you're going to need it. And it may not be for something serious, and pray to God it isn't, but if need be, it's there. And, it was just, I've always had something on me. It was just the way it was.
Yeah, so, okay, good. So it wasn't something traumatic to you, and that's nice. That's a good thing. Did you grow up in the country, or was it you a city boy, or what?
In the city, but, Dad was a country boy, and so that, a lot of that wore off. Did most of the work, everything needed to be done, Dad did, and it was taught us how to be prepared and do things and get it done.
That's awesome. Now let me ask you this skill you've acquired over the 3 years in your lifetime of doing whatever you've picked up in the years, does this skill with the knives, with the throwing, with knowing you have one on you, does the skill negate fear in life, or does the skill breed confidence? Is this strictly how much of a confidence builder is this, knowing you're one of the baddest motherfuckers in the world with a knife in your hand? To me, knowing I have one in my pocket, that's the ability to take care of business when I couldn't take care of it in any other way is makes me feel very, very comfortable personally. And the history that I've been through, and the events that I've seen, and the things I've known I've reacted to, and
Right.
known I was able to get through, has made me walk through knowing that I'm a little prepared for things that happen.
You know, I still, it's weird to me to say that, you know, I'm a world-class thrower. It's still just weird to me. Not that it discredits my skill, but I'm weird about it.
Well, you got to give yourself some credit, man. You did get there through hard work. It's not like you could do this when you started.
Very true, very true.